Hello there, and welcome to this week's Increasing Your Performance Master Tip. I am Sugati, and welcome to today's training. We're going to be talking about this whole concept of the reason that you are less likely to get into action after you have taken a course, read a book, listened to a blog post, or any of those things. So whether this is for you or for someone you love, being able to take a piece of information that you have learned and be able to implement it and actually increase a result or get a different outcome or achieve something you've never been able to achieve before really does require some very interesting skill sets, which we're going to share one of those with you today. So I want you to think about a time when you personally took a class, maybe you listened to a podcast, you heard something on the radio, you read a section from a book, whether it's for work or for home or anywhere else. And odds are you really learned something that you thought was amazing. Wow, this would make such a huge difference. I have to go try this out. I didn't realize you could do something like this. This person is speaking directly to me. I feel like I'm absolutely connected. These are things we hear from people all the time when they've gotten some great information, because that's ultimately the goal and the purpose of training, is to provide information. And we want you to get excited about it. Actually, the better job a person does in constructing a really good class, the more excited you should be about wanting to be able to do the thing it is that you can't do. The problem is that once you have read the book, listened to the podcast, taken the class, whatever you've done, now that's the knowledge part, but performance actually takes place because of the actions that you're willing to take because of that. And this is really where we see the biggest problems in our training structure and the way we set things up, especially from a workplace perspective, is that our ability to stay connected to other people to help us in the implementation phase is always significantly limited. So I want to give you one of the strategies and the tools that we teach our people to do when they're creating their programs, so that their people are actually walking away with transformation and not just information. And I'm going to add this up on the ticker here, because we actually have an amazing master workshop coming up. So for those of you who are actually responsible for training in any way, shape, or form, for those of you who are consultants, for those of you who have your own books, for people that are looking to take their clients, take their family, whatever you're using this for, from this whole idea of being able to inform to actually being able to transform, you're going to need to add this technique along with many others into your training. So here it is. Here's the technique for this time. And it sounds so simple, and it is, but it's literally called giving yourself the gift of imperfect action. And what we have come to find in all of our research and the people that we follow and the information that we've attributed to all of this is that imperfect action is simply the release of fear, self-doubt, worry, and the willingness to be awkward without letting it stop you from taking action. So that is really what, once you give yourself the permission to take imperfect action, in our minds, what we're often hearing in our sort of some unconscious thoughts and the behavior patterns is that we are less likely to get into action because we know that first attempt that we're going to make is actually not very good. And I want you to think about that from any perspective, whether it's a baby walking, the first time that you learn to drive, anything that requires multiple attempts, that very first one is often not good, really uncomfortable. And as adults in particularly, we really do not like to put ourselves in that vulnerable position of showing people that, hey, this might not be my best attempt. And I, for one, can tell you that this happens to me on a regular basis. But the truth is, the only way that you actually get better at something is by doing it over and over again. So whether you are the person that's taking the action, there's a lot of great self-talk that you can do, understanding what's happening when you feel nervous or have anxiety, or start to feel, emotions that make you want to say things like, this isn't really for me. I don't know why you thought you could do this anyway. This is ridiculous. Don't even try. Like, these are the things that you'll start hearing in your mind when you've actually bumped up against that new step that you want to take. So being able to understand this for yourself is huge, but factoring this into how you're going to help your people after they've lived their training class is simply a requirement if you're going to be creating training that's transformational and not just informational. So here's a couple of things that I think you can do for yourself personally when you realize that you're bumping up against something that's making you feel nervous, have anxiety, putting you in an awkward position, is first of all, give yourself grace and space and forgiveness. It is supposed to be hard. Not everything is supposed to be easy. And the thing I like to remind myself all the time is you can do hard things. And I'm sure you have a million pieces of proof in your life where you have been able to do hard things over and over and over again. So get some of that inner strength, talk yourself through it. I think the second thing I want you to know is that this is just really natural. It's really common. And I would venture to say 99.9% of the population has these exact same thoughts, and that there's not something, wrong with you, that there's not anything that you're experiencing that the majority of the other people aren't experiencing. I had someone share with me recently this afternoon. I've been very visible on social media, which is actually a really hard thing for me to do. And the comments I've gotten a couple of times is, wow, you make it look so easy. And I really wanted to address that, as I continue to move forward, because it's not the truth at all, right? That's how it looks on social media. I have people helping me do it. You have no idea what actually takes place behind the scenes in order for me to be able to let those posts even hit the world. And the amount of stress or anxiety or worry, or how many different versions I make before they go up there. I don't ever want anyone to think that what you're seeing as an end product in the world was like a one and done, or was a simple thing, because it never is. It never is. And I think the more we're honest about that with ourselves, the more we're honest about that with our children, letting them know this has become a huge conversation in my house around what I'm doing and what happens in my head and how I manage it. Because it's not really whether is it going to happen. It most certainly is going to happen for you, for me, for our children. And if you're leaders in any way, shape, or form for those people that you manage, it might seem really easy when you give someone a task and then they go and they walk away and all of a sudden they don't return with this task done. A lot of times that can be attributed to the fact that they were simply afraid to take that first step. And the thing that you can do for yourself, for others, for those that you manage, is to really normalize it, to talk about it, to give people the grace and the space to make mistakes without feeling like they are no longer successful, that they are no longer going to be, a trusted member on the team, like they might no longer be the apple of your eye. If you're talking about your children, whatever the situation may be, just having these simple conversations day in and day out, making them a normal part of the process, and making sure that people feel empowered no matter what, is the secret sauce and the formula that will not only get your people taking action, but staying in action and actually achieving those big results that we feel like are impossible in the beginning. So I hope you enjoyed this week's tip on how to solve the performance gap. I'm going to put the ticker back up here one more time. We do have our master workshop coming up, actually. That is the wrong banner, as I see. But that is the secrets to skyrocket your training results. We do have those available for you as well, but I do want to make sure that we're offering our master workshop class. And if you are responsible for constructing training in any way, shape, or form, you think that might be of benefit for you, I would love for you to join our private Facebook group and join us live for those sessions. I'll put the comments in the chat, and I wish you an amazing week, and I'll see you right back here next week. Thanks so much.